Hi, Tenfold Education. My name is Sindile Robert Ngobo, and I hope you are having a wonderful day. I'm from SSP High School, and I'd like you to help me with this question.
Okay, this is a great question because it helps me help you understand how to work your calculator when you have a stats question in front of you. Let's take a look at this question. It says the table below represents the age in years and the height in centimeters of 12 girls without their shoes on. So basically without their shoes on is just saying that there's no thickness of sole of their shoe that could influence their height. It's their basic height, them standing barefoot on the floor. The height has been rounded to the nearest centimeter. So this is our table of variables that we've been given. And obviously there are two different variables. So we could be asked to work out regression and correlation and all of that stuff. Firstly, it says, which is the independent variable? Give a reason for your answer. Okay, so you know when you do functions, guys, you have two different kinds of variables. You have the independent variable and the dependent variable. They are pretty self-explanatory. Independent means that it's a variable that we cannot alter. It just goes on by itself. We don't really have any effect on it. So in this instance, it would definitely be age because we can't really influence how fast a person ages. Obviously, their looks and things age at a different pace. But with every year, you get a year older. We cannot influence that. Dependent variables are variables that can be influenced. So for example, the height here, yes, people grow, but they grow at different rates and you could stunt their growth, you could give them growth hormone, you could do all of these different things to affect their height. So obviously, height is the dependent variable. So independent is definitely age. And the reason is it is not affected by the other variable, or it is not influenced by another variable. Okay. Secondly, it says draw a scatter plot and use it to describe the relationship between the ages and heights of the girls. Okay, so firstly, we're going to draw the scatter plot. In your exam paper, you will be given this grid. You're not going to be expected to draw the grid out. I've just put our data here so I can reference it easily. So let's just plot this plot quickly. Obviously, this is going to be 8 here. So at 8, it's 128. At 19, it's 180. At 11, it's 150. At 12, it's 157. 17, it's 166. 13 is 160. 15 is 112. 16 is 173. 9 is 140. 18 is 178. 10 is 190 all the way up here, and 14 is 163, so it'll be about there. Just make sure you know which variable goes along which axis. Remember, x-axis, y-axis, independent variable, dependent variable. Okay, so now it says, use your scatter plot to describe the relationship between ages and heights of the girls. So this is where it would kind of help you to try and draw your least squares regression line. So I'm going to say it comes probably like that through there. These 2 points are obviously outliers because they sit far away from the rest of the clumped data. So now to describe the relationship, we're looking for 2 things. We're looking for, firstly, you need to comment on the slope. Is it positive or negative? And also how closely related, closeness. Okay, so in this instance, you could say that there is if we look at the slope, it's basically sitting at pretty much a 45-degree angle, which means it's a pretty moderate slope. If I had a slope that did this, that is a very strong slope. This is a very weak slope, and this is probably a moderate one, and this is the instance we're dealing with now. So there is a moderate positive relationship between the ages. You need to comment on both variables, the ages and heights of the girls. Okay. And then lastly, it says, do you think you would see the same level of correlation amongst a group of women aged from 25 to 35 years of age? Explain your answer. Okay, so when you get a question like this, guys, they're basically testing your logic. Like, how does this instance differ to the one that we've been given? Obviously, we've been given girls from age about 8 to 19. What is different about that age group compared to ages 25 to 35? Well, from about 8 to 19 is when you're growing the most. You're going through puberty, you're going through your growth spurts. You know, when you hit grade 8, some of my friends shot up ahead of me and I stayed short, but then I hit 16 and I leveled out with them. In that age group, you are still growing, so your height is going to steadily increase. From ages 25 to 35, do you grow? You shouldn't. You should stop growing at around 21 latest. So from 25 to 35, you've already hit your average height. You're not going to grow any taller through that period of time. So there would definitely not be the same correlation. So you'd have to say no. From 25 to 35, women should not grow any taller. Therefore, there should be no change in height. Okay, and that is all you need to say to answer that question.